And when he, Jesus, comes a second time, he will place his foot upon the Mount of Olives. It will split in two, and a river of life will flow from the mountain that had been blocked. And when he comes a second time, he will set his foot upon the Mount of Olives. It will split, and a river of life will flow. And all who drink of that river will be blessed beyond measure. Is the Mount of Olives to be interpreted literally or spiritually? What is this mountain of God that hides the river of life? Where is the blockage in human consciousness? What is stopping the river from flowing now, spiritually speaking, of course? For the Bible is a spiritual book, and those who understand it must understand it by the Spirit of God and comprehend it and experience it in truth, in experiential truth, not words, not repetition of stories, not looking at the Bible literally alone, but understanding that every story and parable in there points to a spiritual truth, the spiritual truth about you and about me. No man can serve two masters. He'll either prefer one or the other sooner or later. You can't ride two horses at the same time. The Mount of Olives, the mountain that is blocking the river of life from flowing today, is first of all a belief in both good and evil, a belief in two powers. And we'll be discussing that in depth. But right now I want to go to the Bible. And I want us to examine the Bible and the way it's arranged and see if indeed this is a mountain that is blocking the flow of the river of life. Now, I'm going to say some things that are going to be upsetting here. But first of all, realize that I'm a Jew, and I'm not in any way anti-Semitic. I'm simply for the truth, no matter where the truth leads me. My grandfather's name was Abraham Weingarten. My father's on my mother's side. My father was named Haskell, Sanford Sherman Haskell. And our family tradition says that they are of the tribe of the Levitical Jews that carried the furniture of the ark. And coincidentally, my family on my father's side are in the furniture business. So I guess but there is some Roman Catholic Irish blood in me as well, because my grandfather married a wonderful Irish lady. I never knew her. Never knew her. I wish I had. So I guess I'm three-quarters Jewish, if you want to say that. And I don't want any of you to interpret what I'm about to tell you as being anti-Semitic in any way. But there is a mountain that I'm going to split in two now so that you can understand why the river of life is not working in human consciousness. So this is a very important, I've been released by the Holy Spirit who raised Jesus Christ from the dead to reveal this to the church. In order for any of us to understand the truth, we have to understand the history of the angelic creation. Just as the world has history, World War I, World War II, back in our own American history, the Civil War, you have to understand these historical events in order to understand where America and the world is today. There's nothing wrong with studying history. There is an angelic history that is recorded in the Bible that has in large part been ignored by the New Thought or the metaphysical movements, including that which was founded and led by one of the greatest teachers since Jesus Christ, Joel Goldsmith. It's my job, however, to set the record straight and to go back to the angelic creation so we can understand where this mountain grew, this mountain called the so-called Holy Bible, that is interfering with truth today, being experienced in the lives of men, women, boys, and girls. Now, as you know, all of the angels were in harmony at one time, but Lucifer, out of pride, an angel of God, one of the highest angels ever created, privy to most of the secrets of God, except he was not omniscient and omnipotent. He was very close to it, though. God always reserves a certain amount of power for himself. He's not a stupid God, okay? And I guess he foreknew when he saw Lucifer looking in the mirror as he passed by that there was vanity there and ambition. So Lucifer fell, thinking that he would do a better job than God to serve all of the creation. But I don't think he wanted to ever serve man, because that was something that Lucifer became extremely jealous of when God decided to descend to the level of man, and that angels were to serve, as Lucifer put it, crapping, urinating monkeys. That's when Lucifer really went off his wagon and started a rebellion. Now you have to understand that a third of the angels followed him, and that we're dealing with an angel that would never identify himself as a fallen angel, but would always steal the identity of God and call himself God. So we go back to the Old Testament and we see the foundation of the human race is set up by God as being God appearing as the individual consciousness of Adam and Eve in and through their consciousness, and that he warned them not to eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. In other words, when any being appeared to them, or when any doctrine appeared to them that would cause them to believe that God is somewhere separate and apart from their consciousness or being, or that God is the producer of both good and evil, in that day they would surely die or be separated from truth. Lucifer then comes out of jealousy. Remember, he did not want this human race to be created. He was an extremely petulant child in that regard. And he wanted to destroy God's children, spiritually speaking. He didn't really care whether their bodies lived or died, but he wanted to inject false doctrine. So he appeared to Moses and set up the religion that is currently today, involving my own brothers in the Jewish tradition. And I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm just simply saying that when you look at a God who would tell Abraham to sacrifice his only son Isaac, when you look at a God that says eye for eye, tooth for tooth, burn for burn, wound for wound, when you look at a God that is territorial and political and wants to conquer and destroy his enemies, when you look at a God that wants to harden Pharaoh's heart, when you look at a God that wants to kill women and children after battles that already been won, when you look at a God that demands animal sacrifice in order to pay for sin, when you look at a God that does all of this, you're not looking at a God, but you're looking at the fallen angel Lucifer. Jesus came to set the record straight. That's why the Jews of his day crucified him. They were under the dominion of Satan and the Luciferian deception. They were made to believe that Jesus was of the devil, when Jesus very clearly said, look at the works that I do. I bless those who curse me. I feed my enemies and my friends. I turn the other cheek when it's struck. You are of your father the devil. He doesn't perform healing miracles. He performs warlike miracles, destroying his enemies. So the truth is, the God of the Old Testament is Satan. And the blockage of the water and the tree of life is this, that when the Bible was formed by the early Roman Catholic Church, they combined the Old Testament with the New Testament against what Jesus taught. Do not add new wine to old wineskins. And they tried to make Jesus the son of this Old Testament God, which would defeat everything that you need in order to abide in truth and allow truth to come through you in all fullness. Jesus is not the son of the Old Testament fallen angel. He is his father. And he still loves him, but he doesn't appreciate what he's doing to the human race. So return to the one God in and through Jesus Christ. Abandon and separate, cut the mountain in two, and get the Old Testament out of your life, so that it will not continue to destroy your relationship with the water of life that has been waiting for all eternity to bubble up from within you. This is Richard Peter, founder and president of Level 3 Ministries here in Dallas, Texas. God bless you and yours.